Shred here with our very own Brev Sullivan, here to give you the scoop on two extremely customized Shredtacular Kiesel Vaders.
Oh yeah, we've got a couple of Vaders here from my collection. I acquired this one at the NAMM last year, and then this one came in just about as NAMM was ending. I didn't walk out with a guitar like I always do from the Kiesel booth. It was shipped to my house already just in time for my birthday. Green as they come, Kiesel Racing Green. I'm really happy with both of them. But we're here to talk about tone differences and playing differences, not just aesthetics.
Right, and this aesthetic, by the way, just to throw this out there, the umbrellas we got in here, the lighting, don't really do this justice. This thing is as nuclear, in-your-face Hulk green as they come, and I gotta tell you, it really is a showstopper. I'm falling in love with this guitar more and more that I play it.
The gentleman who takes the orders for my guitars all the time there said, for some reason, the racing green epitomizes what I view Kiesel as. Everybody has a different idea of what they like in guitars. Some go, this is the stock, you know, the stock poster boy, I think, too, for the guitar, the California Burst. But ever since I've seen this with the glowing green, nuclear green fret markers, you can't play anywhere. You can play in the biggest, darkest blackout, and you will not lose your way on that fretboard. So that's why we choose that. It's awesome.
Yeah, great guitar, great guitar. So what are the differences here, body-wise, electronics? What do they need to know? What kind of factors are separating these?
Okay, first of all, there's an old school page I look at, the warm-off guitar page. So I'm going by that. If you look at the warm-off page where you build your own guitars and parts, there's a meter for wood, whether you agree with that, yours agree with that. I'm on the same page they are, which is there's spectrums of tone with the wood. This is ash, so it tends to have a brighter tone. This is alder, so it tends to be on the middle scale. I, since playing these guitars, disagree now with that tone meter, because I'll play this guitar and think, wow, this is rocking. It's just in your face, it's punchy, it's got all the solid aspects of tone that I want in that bottom end that I hit when you're on stage and you feel the amp rumbling, that kind of thing. It's got the chugga I want. However, when I got this guitar and plugged it in, I went back to the warm-off page and went back with, well, alder does sound more mid-range, because when you play this, you quoted, it sounds darker.
It really does. Got a really good girth to it.
Right. When I play that one, I tend to want to just go full shred. I want to turn up the volume to 10, want to dime the tone out, and just play. With this one, I pick it up and I'm starting to think my chicken picking stuff. I'm starting to think my Steve Morse stuff. So we got the pickup on 1/2 right now. And I can hear that country fried, you know, chicken picking sound that I like coming through because of this wood. With that, I don't hear it.
So what would you say is better for some of the younger prog metal players out there?
Well, how about the older prog metal players?
We talk about them too.
Look, I totally get it. When you're starting out and you're a young player, you just want to go right, you know, from 0 to 100. So they might choose, you know, the most distorted amp, the best amp model out there. I can't form an opinion on what they would choose, but if you're thinking shred rock like Joe Satriani or Steve Vai, somebody who plays a lot of instrumentals, a lot of notes instead of a lot of rhythm all night, I would go with the alder body. This also has the hollow, the chambered option, by the way, too,
right,
which puts a different spin, touch on the end of the tone, on the bloom of the end of the notes.
But all the electronics are exactly the same on both these guitars.
They're similar. I mean, you've got the lithium pickups here in black and the lithium pickups in white, 5-way switch. I haven't looked inside exactly, and you know, when it comes to wiring Kiesel guitars, it's kind of hard to get a hold of the schematics. So there could be differences, but I believe they're set up to my specs, which is 5-way switch, humbucker, middle, rear,
right.
That's it. Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, for stock pickups in a guitar, the guitar manufacturer, I have played almost every guitar under the sun, and I gotta tell you, these pickups to me are so good that when I'm looking to mod maybe a Kramer or a Charvel or Gibson that I have, I actually look for these pickups used on reverb, because they hit almost every tonal characteristic you'd ever desire. That could be just me though, but I find these to be some of the most badass humbuckers you get in a guitar that you don't go to Sam Asher Guitar Center and see on the rack. So it's you don't see many pickups though there. They have a little bit, I guess, but not as much.
Yeah, I'm always asking myself, give me a reason to take these pickups out and put in my own pickups, and I can't find them. You know, just because I have some cool colored pickups or I have some expensive pickups sitting there that I feel would be wasted. I'm just happy with the lithiums, and that's the way it's going to be.
Yeah. So why don't you show us, I guess, a little bit of a demo of some harder stuff? Because I know we got a lot of heavy metal shred players out there.
We got to trade up.
We're going to hand over.
I want you cool cats to know that we are using bias. We're using my personal sample, and that means, you know, I went to my favorite tracks and sampled off CDs and records what I liked in the guitar tone, threw it into my bias, an instance of bias here. It's downloadable under Hot for Metal, Brev Sullivan. And I call it Hot for Metal because it started with the Van Halen tone in mind, and then it gradually got more distorted. So one of the tunes I like to play is Satch Boogie. And for some reason, the sound, the feel of this guitar, I don't know, maybe it has to do with the feel of the neck. This neck is wood, this neck is painted, and for some reason I found myself doing more trem work with this guitar. Mid-range brown sound that everybody's looking for from that classic Van Halen metal tone. It's right here in this guitar, right here in the rear pickup, and tremolos are awesome.
They do float very well, and the tension is nice and smooth. What you want. Good enough for Whammy Wednesday, I think. We're about there. How would you compare that to a Floyd Rose, or dare I say it, if anybody still remembers what they are, Kahlers? I brought this up before, but most people say, what's a Kahler? Younger people do. Older folk, you know what they are. I know what they are. But if you know what they are, how would you compare these tremolos to a Floyd Rose or a Kahler?
They're everything you need them to do. Everything that a Floyd Rose does, this tremolo will do without having to unlock and lock up and tune, which is great, because I'll find myself on the gig, and one day I'm doing standard tuning, and the next day, oh shoot, the singer wants me to drop the tuning to a whole step. So that just means a matter of tuning, you know, just going to the tuner, tuning up, and tuning back up. No unlocking, none of that. It does use springs, so you do have, you know, the freedom to adjust the tension and get in here and make the bridge feel like a Floyd Rose. But I don't come back here and worry so much about what the bridge does. With the Floyd Rose, I'm not dissing in the Floyd Rose because I'm endorsed by them and I, you know, talk about them all the time. But with the Floyd Rose, I'm constantly worried about what's happening back here, the tension, the angle. This kind of just takes on whatever tension you set it at, just to it, and it's ready to play. Especially with this high radius, 20-inch radius neck.
What kind of price points are we looking at if you wanted to go out and snag one of these? Where are we at with that?
Well, again, I'll quote Jeff Kiesel himself. He should be charging a lot more for these guitars. Agreed. When I saw this guitar, I think I said something like, I can't afford that. It's out of my price range. Because you look at the woods and it's intimidating, it's scary. There's no way.
We saw the back of this thing.
No way I saw that. Something like that. So I'm not going to talk about what I paid for that, but we're in the $2,000 range with that.
That is a gorgeous guitar.
Yeah. But there's no stone unturned. No wood is left out. There's, you know, just the cut of the wood. I don't have the specs as far as how many pieces or how this was created, but I do know that we have ash in here, we have maple in here, we have the beautiful stained bird's eye maple neck, and it looks like dark green forest of Endor from Star Wars.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Gorgeous guitar. You played this one quite a bit actually.
Played a lot.
Shows, and it hits pretty much every style dead on.
Played a lot. It's important to know that the work that I do outside of metal and heavy rock is jazz and ambient type music. So I'm always working with the volume, especially to play gently, and like a jazz guitarist goes for the volume and goes for the thumb and the touch. So this guitar, on half volume is much more responsive than on my other guitars. To answer your question about price point, for somebody who wants to walk away with a guitar and they're closer to the 1,000 range, that would be a Vader like this with a satin paint job. It's one color. We're not doing any exotic woods. We're doing just good old alder, and then the rest of the electronics are the same. You know, and then you'll run your charge up putting in these fretboard markers, and
They're so worth it though.
yeah, I mean,
you gotta.
I think you're talking a difference between $1 or $2 per pickup if you go for a colored pickup or white pickup or
Right.
pickup contrast pickup.
That's very minor for the
nothing.
just the tremendous amount of personality it has to the guitar and the uniqueness, which will help.
Let's let everybody know the reason I picked up this Vader is because this is so beautiful, and I know you cats go through this. To me, it's a crime to be taking this everywhere every day because I want to protect the wood. I want to keep it preserved as the day I bought it. So I feel like I want a guitar that I can get on stage and I don't see a scratch, or I'm not worried about, you know, the wood getting gouged. Not that anything's going to happen to this, but I feel like I wanted a backup guitar for this, and that would be this one.
Right, exactly. So it does hit everything, but this is definitely maybe something you got to think twice about just taking to every single gig because it is so pretty. I'd be scared to get this wrecked a little bit. Yep.
I'm going to play a chord on here. Remember, we're running this guitar and this guitar through different channels on my interface, but they're going to the same sample, same bias amp. We're just going to play one chord, let it ring out, and let you guys out there decide what you hear or what you don't hear. So. That's the neck pickup. Now I'm going to go to the bridge pickup.
Alright, mine too. The bridge. Neck. All the way up, volume all the way up.
Alright. I'm going to do my volume, I'm at 2.
Good bite on that.
I think I've got it barely on at this point. What I'm hearing is the wiriness that I hear from
Right.
a traditional Strat when I'm
Right.
at that low volume.
And this one's at 2, almost about 2, right? That's right there. And it actually, it's a little bit lighter. It's a little bit lighter. It's got a lot of bite, a lot of warmer, darker end, which we talked about with that guitar. But this one's got a nice, kind of airy,
That's a good description. I was going to say there's a
fluid
lot of
feel
air.
to it. Really, I like that.
A lot of air in the notes. There's more air in the notes on that, and to me, there's more metal and like grinding metal down in a factory, and you've got nothing but, you know, grinds on the floor, and that's what I hear when I'm at this low volume.
Right.
It's probably like the weirdest description you ever heard. Ground metal on the floor. Sounds like a guitar. How do we translate that?
That is. Like grit. It does sound really good though on there, but it feels like also you want to work to make it even nastier when you're playing. You want to just really pummel the guitar.
Right.
But with this, you're just like, yeah, you know what? Got that nice tone. I won't go into that. That's for a different time, but
You're ripping.
that's you know what that is.
I would say if you have the bread and you have the options, order a guitar with all the exotic woods you've always dreamed about. It's worth it. Because my feeling when I play this guitar is, okay, I see why I paid more for the wood and why I might pay more for the options. Because when I'm playing, every time I turn up the volume between 1 and 10, there's some secret to be unlocked there. With this guitar, I love it, but once it's on, and it does one thing great, which is just shred. That's where we'll leave it.
Yeah, so I think that if you could get both, get both.
Yeah,
you
man.
know, it's not a problem. It can be a little small car, but go for both. If you can't, you know, you got a tough choice which one you're going to go for.
Go for
So
both.
hopefully this helps you guys. Always happy to shred some knowledge.
Always happy.
Shred some knowledge.
Always happy to shred some light.
Yes. And stay tuned for some more shred-worthy videos that address the topics you want to know more about. Thanks for joining, guys. Shred on.